Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're really diving deep into the world of automated stock trading.
Really going under the hood.
You got it. And we've got a pretty intriguing mix of source material, presentation slides, a transcribed lecture, all centered around one pretty ambitious goal.
Ambitious. I'd say fascinating. Building a system that can manage multiple trading strategies all at once.
And not just any system. This one's specifically designed for the Thai stock market,
That's right.
which adds another layer of complexity, I'm sure.
Definitely. But what's so cool is that our source material doesn't just stay at a theoretical level, it actually lays out a practical roadmap.
So they're not messing around.
Nope. Straight to the nitty-gritty of how to actually build this thing.
Okay, so let's get into that roadmap then. The source material introduces this idea of the 7 M's.
Yes.
Method, market, money, measure, monitor, mindset, and machine. Sounds pretty comprehensive.
It really is. It's about bridging the gap between, your initial trading strategy idea and a fully automated system that can execute it.
So each M represents like a crucial stage in that development process.
Exactly. Method, for instance, that's all about clearly defining your strategy.
Got to have a plan.
Exactly. Then you've got market, which is all about understanding the specific nuances of the market you're targeting. Money, of course, that's risk management, position sizing, all the financial stuff.
The essentials.
You got it.
I'm already seeing how this framework goes way beyond just automation. This is valuable for any trader,
Absolutely.
whether they're using algorithms or not.
100%. It's a solid foundation.
But let's bring it back to the world of automation for this deep dive. The source specifically mentions that each strategy should have its own AFL file.
Right.
I'm assuming that stands for AMI broker formula language.
You got it.
So what exactly is an AFL file in the grand scheme of things?
Think of it as the coded instructions for your specific strategy.
Okay.
It tells the system what to look for and how to react.
Got it. So like, if this, then that kind of thing.
Exactly. And one key principle here is that each automated trading system should ideally only be built around one single strategy.
Okay, so if we're talking about running multiple strategies at once, we need multiple trading systems, each with its own AFL file.
Precisely.
But then how do we manage all these separate systems without, like, creating a total mess?
That's where the trading platform comes in. It acts as that central command center, managing all these different systems simultaneously, each with its own strategy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like the conductor of an orchestra, making sure all the instruments are playing in harmony.
I like that analogy.
The source actually provides a really nice visual breakdown of the platform's structure. There's this hierarchy of layers,
Okay.
starting with the portfolio manager at the top, then AMI broker, data providers, a file system, and finally set trade.
Right. SetTrade being the trading platform specific to the Thai market.
Exactly. What I find fascinating here is how these layers interact with each other.
Yeah, it's like a well-oiled machine.
Walk me through it.
Sure. So the portfolio manager, that's the brains of the operation, it issues the instructions to ME Broker based on the defined strategies.
Okay.
ME Broker then interacts with both the file system and the data providers, getting the necessary market data and executing the trades.
So it's the one doing the heavy lifting.
Yes. While all this is happening, SetTrade is providing real-time information about open positions, order executions, all that good stuff.
So it's the eyes and ears on the ground.
Precisely.
This is all really impressive. The platform is pulling data, executing trades, keeping track of positions, but how does it actually decide when to buy or sell?
Good question. The source outlines 3 core functions. First, it's continuously retrieving that stock data, basically feeding the system with all the raw material it needs to make those decisions.
Makes sense.
Then it's updating the open positions, which, as we talked about earlier with the money principle, that is absolutely crucial for risk management.
Can't let those losses run wild.
Yeah. Exactly. And finally, the platform is generating buy and sell signals based on the predefined strategies, of course.
So it's constantly analyzing the market, looking for opportunities.
All the time.
Now, here's where things get really interesting, I think. The source mentions that these buy-sell signals aren't set in stone.
Interesting.
They can actually be overridden based on risk calculations.
Right.
So even though it's automated, there's still this layer of risk management intelligence built in.
That's right. This is where the measure and monitor principles really come into play. The platform is constantly analyzing those market conditions, assessing the risk, and adjusting positions to stay within those predefined limits.
So it's not just blindly following signals.
No, it's about making smart decisions in real time.
Got it. Now, I know from experience that even the best laid plans can go astray. The market loves to throw curveballs.
Oh, absolutely. Always expect the unexpected.
And our source material actually acknowledges this using some, I think amusing is the right word, some amusing Thai phrases and illustrations to show the gap between this idealized vision of automation
Right.
and the sometimes messy reality.
It happens.
So what are some of those real-world challenges that they highlight?
Well, think about the workflow. Ideally, this platform should be running seamlessly, gathering data, analyzing signals, executing trades.
Like clockwork.
Exactly. But in reality, you can have disruptions at any stage. Data feeds might fail, connectivity issues can pop up, you might have an unexpected market event that throws all your calculations off.
So Murphy's Law is alive and well in the trading world too.
Always.
So the system needs to be robust enough to handle those hiccups.
Without a doubt.
And that brings us to the building blocks of the platform itself.
Okay.
Let's start with the hardware. What kind of machine are we talking about here?
Well, the source makes a distinction between the hardware you need for backtesting and coding
Okay.
versus the live trading platform.
Got it.
For backtesting, you need more processing power, more RAM, multiple monitors to analyze all that historical data.
Makes sense. So for backtesting, you really need to go all out.
You do, but for the live system,
Yeah.
you actually don't need a supercomputer.
Oh, really? That's surprising. I was picturing like a massive setup with flashing lights and spinning hard drive.
I know, right? But the source emphasizes that for the live system, you need it to be reliable and stable, of course.
Of course.
But since it's mostly executing those predefined instructions, it doesn't actually need that same level of raw processing power.
Interesting. So overspecifying the hardware could actually be counterproductive?
Exactly. It just adds complexity and more potential points of failure.
That's a great point. It's about efficiency and reliability,
Absolutely.
not brute force.
Precisely.
Now, what about the software side of things? What programming languages and applications are making this whole system tick?
Well, the source details a pretty interesting blend of, specialized financial software
Okay.
and some surprisingly familiar tools.
Ooh, like what?
AmiBroker, of course, takes center stage, renowned for its, powerful backtesting and charting capabilities.
I've heard of that one.
And the language it speaks, AFL.
AmiBroker formula language.
That's the one.
Now, earlier, we were talking about each strategy needing its own AFL file.
Right.
To be completely honest, the idea of coding my own trading strategies from scratch is a little intimidating.
I get it.
Is this platform only for, hardcore programmers?
Not at all. While AFL allows for a ton of intricate customization,
Okay.
AmiBroker also has an extensive library of built-in functions and indicators.
So like pre-made building blocks.
Exactly. You can combine and tweak them to build your own strategies.
So you don't have to be a coding wizard to use it.
Exactly. Think of it like building with Legos.
I can definitely get behind that analogy. Now, one thing that really caught my eye in the source material was this concept of exploration.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean in this context?
Exploration, or scanning as it's sometimes called, this is where AmiBroker really shines. It allows you to systematically scan that entire market, searching for stocks that meet specific criteria.
Okay.
And you define those criteria using AFL.
So instead of manually going through charts for hundreds of stocks,
Right.
I can just tell AmiBroker what I'm looking for.
Exactly. And it does all the heavy lifting.
That's incredibly efficient. But let's say AmiBroker finds some promising candidates. What happens next? Who makes the final call on buying or selling?
That's where our portfolio manager, our top-level commander, steps in.
Okay.
It receives those results from the exploration, analyzes the potential trade.
Through the lens of risk management, I'm assuming.
Always. It takes into account things like position sizing, overall portfolio exposure, any predefined risk limits you might have.
So it's acting as both the risk manager and the executor, basically.
Exactly. It's ensuring that those trades align with both the overall strategy and the money principle from the 7Ms.
Now, I'm assuming we're not just blindly trusting this system to track everything perfectly.
Of course not.
What about monitoring the performance of these automated systems?
You're hitting on the monitor principle there. And the source emphasizes that monitoring should be a blend of both automated and manual oversight.
Okay, so it's a hybrid approach.
Exactly. The platform itself will keep tabs on all the key metrics, positions, equity, risk levels.
Right.
But you also need to manually review the reports, the charts, the logs.
Make sure nothing's gone haywire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it like having a really sophisticated car with all the latest safety features. Those features are great.
Yeah.
But you still got to keep your eyes on the road.
100%. So it's about striking that balance, leveraging the power of automation, but maintaining that human oversight to make sure nothing goes completely off the rails.
That's the key.
Now, the source also mentioned some limitations specific to the Thai market.
Right.
Back in 2016 when this material was created. Apparently, regulations at that time didn't allow for fully automated order execution.
That's right.
So while the platform could identify signals and even generate those orders, a human trader still had to review and submit those orders manually through SetTrade.
That's right.
It seems like that manual step would introduce a bit of a bottleneck,
It could, yeah.
potentially delaying the execution of time-sensitive trades.
It's definitely a factor to consider.
Has the regulatory landscape in Thailand changed at all since then, to allow for more seamless automation?
That's a fantastic question, and something I think is worth investigating further.
I'll add to my research list.
Because regulations and technology are always evolving.
That's true.
So what might have been a limitation back then might be a non-issue today.
Good point. Uncovering that answer could give us some valuable insight into how the Thai market has embraced automated trading over the years.
I think so too.
Now, this entire system, as we've discussed, is tailored to the Thai stock market.
Right.
Could we take these underlying principles and adapt them to work in other markets? Or would we be starting from scratch?
That's what's so brilliant about what we're discussing here.
Yeah.
The core principles, the 7Ms framework, the layered architecture of the platform, those are universal.
So it's like a blueprint that can be customized.
Exactly. You can apply them to any market with some crucial adaptations, of course.
Adaptations like what?
Well, for starters, you need to think about the availability and compatibility of data providers.
Ah, right. Different markets, different data sources.
Exactly. Each market has its own ecosystem.
Makes sense.
And you need to make sure that the data they offer aligns with the platform and analysis tools you choose.
Data is the lifeblood of any trading system.
Absolutely. It all starts with the data.
What other factors would we need to account for?
Probably the most crucial adaptation revolves around the trading rules and regulations specific to each market.
Oh, right, because those can vary a lot.
A lot. Think about things like order types, position limits, margin requirements.
Things I wouldn't even think about.
They can differ significantly.
Yeah.
And they would need to be built into your AFL code and risk management parameters.
So it's almost like learning a new language, understanding the nuances and grammar of each market
That's a great way to put it.
before you can effectively communicate with it through your trading system.
I like that. You got to speak the language.
Are there any other considerations we should be thinking about?
Don't forget about the practical stuff. Transaction costs, currency conversions, tax implications.
Ah, right. The boring but important stuff.
Exactly. Those can have a big impact on your bottom line.
Yeah.
And they vary wildly depending on the market you're targeting.
This adaptation process sounds like a pretty fascinating challenge.
It is.
It requires, this blend of technical expertise and a deep understanding of that target market.
For sure.
Is there anything else we should be aware of when adapting this kind of system?
It really is. It's almost like cultural immersion for traders,
I like that.
You got to understand those customs and practices of each market before you can really hope to operate successfully within it.
Makes sense.
But let's be honest, even with all these adaptations and considerations, the idea of building a fully automated trading system can feel pretty daunting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially for someone just starting out.
Absolutely. I'm sure some of our listeners are feeling a little overwhelmed right now.
It's a lot to take in.
But here's the thing. You don't need to become a coding guru or a risk management expert overnight to benefit from these insights.
That's so true. The real value here is in the broader principles.
The big picture.
Exactly. Like take the 7Ms framework, for example. It's such a powerful tool for any trader, regardless of how much automation they're using.
So it's not just for the algo trading crowd.
Not at all. It forces you to define your method clearly, understand your target market, prioritize risk management.
It's like having a solid business plan for your trading activities.
Exactly.
And that emphasis on risk management, that's a recurring theme we keep seeing in this material.
Oh, yeah. It's not an afterthought.
It's like woven into every aspect of the platform's design.
Absolutely. And that's where those money and measure principles really come into play. It's not just about making money, it's about protecting your capital.
Making sure you can stay in the game for the long haul.
Exactly.
The source material also showcases how powerful technology can be for traders.
It can be a game changer.
AmiBroker and AFL in particular, they seem like really incredible tools for backtesting, analysis, even automating some parts of the trading process.
Oh, they're incredibly powerful.
But it's not about replacing human judgment, right?
Absolutely not.
It's more like,
augmenting your abilities.
Yeah.
Technology should enhance your skills, not replace them.
So the ultimate decisions still rest with the trader.
Always. It's about using these tools strategically to gain an edge, not handing over complete control to some algorithm.
I love that perspective. Man with machine, not man versus machine.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways you hope our listener will walk away with?
First and foremost, I think the importance of having that systematic approach to trading, whether you're building a complex automated platform or sticking with a manual approach.
Structure is key.
Absolutely. Having a clear framework for strategy development, risk management, performance evaluation, that's crucial.
And the 7Ms, that's a fantastic blueprint for that framework.
Couldn't agree more. And the second takeaway, the power of technology as an enabler, but always remembering it's a tool, not a magic solution.
A means to an end.
Exactly. The success of any trading system, automated or not, ultimately comes down to the skill, the knowledge, and the discipline of the trader using it.
The human element.
That's it.
So for our listener out there who might be feeling inspired to explore this world of automated trading, what advice would you give them? Where should they start?
Honestly, I'd say focus on the fundamentals first. Develop a sound trading strategy.
Get those basics down.
Exactly. Understand your risk tolerance, and then start exploring the tools and resources that can support those goals.
There's no shortage of resources out there.
Oh, absolutely. There are educational materials, online communities, specialized software, tons of stuff.
And don't be afraid to experiment and learn along the way.
That's part of the fun.
Even the most experienced traders are always adapting and refining their approaches, right?
Always. The markets are constantly changing.
So the key is to stay curious, stay disciplined,
Stay adaptable.
and never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Trading is a journey of continuous learning and adaptation, and as we've seen today, there's always something new to discover, whether you're diving deep into the complexities of automated systems or just honing your skills as a manual trader.
Well said. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of automated trading platforms.
It's been a journey.
We've covered a lot of ground, the core principles, the practical challenges, the exciting possibilities.
A lot to think about.
Definitely. We hope our listener has gained some valuable insights.
I hope so.
Insights that they could apply to their own trading journey. Until next time, happy trading, everyone.
Yeah, it really is kind of like you need to know like the cultural differences between different markets,
Yeah,
You can't just go in blindly.
No.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
definitely not.
Right.
But let's be real, even with all these adaptations, all
Yeah.
these considerations,
Right.
the prospect of building a fully automated trading system is
Daunting.
daunting. Yeah,
Especially for someone just starting out,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of our listeners might be feeling a little overwhelmed at this point.
I get it.
It's a lot to take in. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't need to become a coding guru or a risk management expert overnight to benefit from these insights.
That's so true.
It
About
is.
the core principles.
The big picture.
Exactly. Like the 7Ms framework, that's a powerful tool for any trader, regardless of how much automation they're using.
So it's not just for the hardcore algo trading crowd.
Not at all. It forces you to, think about your method, understand your market, prioritize risk management.
It's like having a good business plan for your trading.
Exactly. It's a framework.
And that emphasis on risk management,
Yeah.
it really is like a recurring theme throughout this whole deep dive.
It's fundamental.
It's not just an afterthought. It's like baked into every stage of this platform's design.
That's right. It's got to be from the ground up.
And that's where the money and the measure principles really shine.
Right.
It's not just about making money. It's about protecting what you have.
Sustainable trading.
Exactly. Making sure you can actually stay in the game for the long haul.
100%.
The source material also really showcases how powerful technology can be for traders.
They can be.
AmiBroker and AFL,
Yeah.
those seem like incredible tools
Powerful, yeah.
for backtesting, for analysis, even automating certain aspects of your trading.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not about replacing human judgment.
No, absolutely not.
Right. It's more about,
Enhancing it.
there you go, augmenting those abilities.
That's it.
So technology should be there to enhance our skills, not replace them.
Exactly. You're still the one calling the shots.
So the ultimate decisions, they still rest with the trader.
Always.
It's about using these tools strategically to gain an edge,
Right.
not handing over complete control to, some black box algorithm.
No, you need to understand what's going on.
Exactly.
You're the one with the experience.
I love that perspective. It's not man versus machine, it's man with machine.
That's it. That's the way to think about it.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what are some of the key takeaways you hope our listeners are taking away from this?
Well, I think the biggest one is that systematic approach to trading.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're, going all in on automation or sticking with a manual approach,
Yeah.
having that clear framework, for strategy development, risk management, performance evaluation, that is crucial.
Couldn't agree more.
Mm.
And the 7 M's,
Yeah,
that's a great starting point for that framework.
100%.
And what would you say is the second key takeaway?
The power of technology, but, with a caveat.
Always a caveat.
It's an enabler, not a magic solution.
The tool.
A tool, exactly. The success of any trading system, automated or not, ultimately comes down to the trader using it.
Right, the human element.
You got it.
So for our listener out there who might be feeling inspired
Yeah.
to explore this world of automated trading,
Mm-hmm.
where would you recommend they start?
Honestly, focus on the fundamentals first.
Get those basics down.
Exactly. Develop a sound trading strategy, understand how much risk you're comfortable with, and then start exploring the tools and resources that can support those goals.
And there's no shortage of those out there.
Oh, tons. Educational materials, online communities, specialized software.
It's all out there.
It's a whole world.
And don't be afraid to experiment, Learn as you go.
That's the best way to learn.
Even the most experienced traders, they're always adapting and refining their approach, right?
100%. The market's always changing.
So you got to stay curious. You got to stay disciplined.
Stay adaptable.
Never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Trading is a journey. And, there's always something new to discover.
Absolutely.
Whether you're diving into those automated systems or, honing your skills as a manual trader.
Beautifully said. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of automated trading platforms.
It's been fun.
It has been a journey. We've covered a lot of ground today. From those core principles to the practical challenges to those exciting possibilities that are out there.
There's a lot to explore.
We hope our listeners have gained some valuable insights.
Oh, they too.
Insights that they can apply to their own trading journeys.
Absolutely.
Until next time, happy trading, everyone.